Welcome everybody to Dawn's 2 o'clock advanced class on Monday. Oh, we got to let Linda in. Okay, still letting people in. That's all right. That's absolutely okay. And we are going to do today yesterday when I was young. And guess what? I don't think I'd want to be young again anymore. I kind of like it right where I am. Yeah, I really do. So I did not do a lot of stuff with this song. This is going to be one of your easier songs. So what you're going to want to work with is the arranging. For anybody who is in my variety class, with Christmas and Dixie, and you learned that one button pushing or just sometimes just subtle changes can work to make an arrangement really interesting. Especially with a song like this, that's 4 pages. And as we go through and dissect the song, we're going to see that it's pretty much the same chord pattern all the way through the song. And if you're not singing the lyrics and listening to the content of the lyrics, you have to express the song a little bit differently, which means you have to express it with different sounds. Here comes Gene McDonald. You have to express it with different rhythm changes, and they don't have to be drastic. They can be subtle, but you want to make it so that your arrangement kind of flows from one to the next. And we're going to have to work a little bit on this one as well, because it just otherwise you just play it on the same thing over and over, and it's just going to be like blah. It's just going to lay there. And the reason being is that when you sing a song, people are listening to the content of the lyrics. When you're playing a song, you still have to express what the song is trying to say, but you don't have the benefit of the words. So that's why, we as the arrangers really have to work extra hard to make that song come across to people. All right, so this actually started out as a French song, and I don't even know how to pronounce it, but it says that it looks like higher encore. And that's not how you pronounce it in French. I'm not even going to try. But that was the original title of the song. And the translation means just yesterday or not so long ago. And it was released in 1964. Later, it was released in English, Italian, Danish, Japanese, Spanish, Finnish, Czechoslovakian, and Greek. So who knew that a song like this, because obviously the lyrics say something that really can relate to everybody. Roy Clark, you remember Pickin' and Grinnin' on Hee Haw? Roy Clark, he's the best known version of this song. This actually was his biggest hit to date on the Billboard Hot Country Singles. And as a matter of fact, it was his only top 40 hit. So he performed the song at Mickey Mantle's funeral in 1995 at Mantle's personal request. My question is, did he request it before or after? Before or after he died? No, that was a little bit ambiguous there. Other people who have performed this song, and you're going to recognize everybody on this list, but the different genres are really incredible. Bing Crosby, Shirley Bassey, Dusty Springfield, who is one of my favorite singers. She's got a fabulous voice. Mel Torme, Jack Jones, Lena Horne, Andy Williams, Jimmy Durante, Al Martino, Glenn Campbell, Julio Iglesias, and Willie Nelson. Not together this time. But according to Billboard, more than 90 artists, 90, that's a lot, did this song. Why? Because obviously it says something that really is something that hits the heart of everybody. So if you read the lyrics, it really is about somebody who is pining for the yesterdays. The taste of life was sweet as rain upon my tongue, and I teased at life as if it was a foolish game, the way an evening breeze may tease a candle flame. And poetically, it was very well done. And that's not always the easiest thing to do when it's a translation, because originally it was French. So to translate it and then make your rhymes, and not just foolish rhymes, but rhymes that actually mean something, that's not an easy thing to do. The splendid things I planned, I always built, alas, on weak and shifting sand. I lived by night and shunned the naked light of day, and only now I see the years ran away. And then the chorus starts where that double line is in the middle of page, actually two-thirds down on page 353. That's where the chorus starts. Yesterday when I was young, so many happy songs. It's funny that it says drinking because happy is actually the word that's in other versions. So many happy songs were waiting to be sung. I'm surprised they would put drinking in a family book like this. My goodness. So many wayward pleasures lay in store for me, and so much pain my dazzled eyes refused to see. I ran so fast that time and youth at last ran out. I never stopped to think what life was all about, and every conversation I can now recall concerned itself with me, and nothing else at all. Yeah, that's pretty much how we all have been. And then we get older and wiser. Yeah. Yep. But yes, it has some very interesting lyrics. If you look at the chords, now this is why I said you have to really be careful of your arrangement of the song, because it uses one set of chords and that's it until it gets to the end. And your chords just go around the circle of fifths, and then they do a 2-5-1 turnaround. And here is your circle of chords. G minor, C, F, B flat, and then it does the 2-5-1 turnaround, G minor, A, and D minor. And guess what? Then it all repeats over and over and over again. So it goes around the circle of fifths or circle of fourths, whichever way you want to go, and then it does the G minor, A, D minor. So what key are we in? I just gave it away.
D minor.
D minor, correct. We are in the key of D minor. The only reason you need to know that is for the introduction. That's the only reason you need to know that at all. And then everything from there just continues to go through until you get to the coda, and the coda finally takes you down a little different path and ends the song. But other than that, all your verses and the chorus are pretty much all on that same chord progression. Now, am I changing any of the chords? Yes, I am. So get your pencils out.
Dawn, one question.
Yes.
It's the key of D minor, but in the beginning it says G minor, and I know it's the key of D minor. So do you start with G minor, or do
No,
you
you start
minor?
with D minor. Start with
Okay.
D minor.
Okay.
Because that is the key. Now, if it sounds okay with you to start a G minor, because they're both going to give you that minor tone, that minor somber feeling, if you feel like starting it on G minor and it sounds okay to you because we're all going around the circle of fourths, go ahead and use it. But the key of the song is D minor. It is D minor, and it is just happens to be the last chord of the song as well. And that's usually the rule. But always, always let your ears be the final judge, because in music, as you know, we can break all the rules we want. Oh, changing chords. Don't get old. My brain just took a little.
Sorry for
Sorry.
interrupting.
Line two. Make that F an F major 7. F major 7 is E and F. That's a little jazz chord, and that just sounds really nice there. And the B flat next door to it in line 2, make that a B flat major 7, which is A and B flat. Let's go to page 353, the second page, second line. Make the F an F major 7. Make the B flat a B flat major 7. At the bottom of the page, make the F an F major 7. And remember the rules for the major sevens. It's always the letter minus 1. Let's go to the top of page 354. Make the B flat a B flat major 7. See how it just repeats and repeats and repeats?
That's
Line
A flat, right?
A and B flat, correct. A and B flat, the letter minus 1. Yep. Let's go down to line 4. Make the F an F major 7, E and F. And line 5, make that B flat a B flat major 7, A and B flat. And that's it. That's it on your chord changes. So really not a whole lot to learn there. There is a little bit of a roadmap. So let's check that out. And again, if you follow the verses, it's always going to tell you where you are. The verses, the roadmap, all of the first page, all of the second page, all of the third page, and line 1 of page 355. Then you have double lines and some instructions. Double lines are always the end of a section. So where is it telling you to go? Back to the silly sign. Where's the silly sign? Beginning of the
At the
song.
beginning.
Yep, so you're going to go back and pick up that other verse there. And then you're going to play to where it says to coda. To coda is right before, I wouldn't expect it to be there because that's actually where the chorus starts. And the chorus, the coda takes you to page 355, second line, and then you finish the song. It just ends it. So yeah, I would not have expected that. But the chord pattern is just over and over and over again. And of course, it was a French song, so that was not necessarily written with popular, the formulas that a popular song would actually go through. So how did I change it to make it a little bit different? Well, what kind of backgrounds did I use? My favorite actually is Crazy Country, believe it or not.
Oh.
Crazy Country. Now that's because, the Roy Clark version was pretty much country. Glenn Campbell was even more country. He used more whiny guitars. When I listened to Andy Williams and Shirley Bassey used more of a jazzy type of a background. Well, let's get Marjorie in here. And my actual favorite was Dusty Springfield, and she did typical 60s stuff with some folk guitars, and then she added the strings. So actually, most of the arrangements were very similar. Very similar. So after Crazy Country, and I'm going to do some changing up because, like I said, making the arrangement is where we have to make things a little bit nicer with this. 8-beat rock works very well with this. So for those of you with the smaller instruments, rock full band is very good. Gypsy Rag works very well, and the Freedom 3 actually has that one on it. I'm at 88 beats per minute, by the way. Basic Rhythm and Blues. Now that comes up with the My Gal type of a background, and I'm using the alter style. Don't forget, if you've got alter style, that can completely change it because you don't want to have the signature background for My Gal sitting on that one. But if you put the alter style on, it actually works pretty well.
What about habanero?
Interesting. I never tried that. I didn't try that.
What was that?
The habanero.
Oh,
Latin. Yeah. Did not try that. I will. I think that would be fun to try. Also, the pianist, your 8-beat pianist, or your guitarist, your guitar 16-beat. So there's a number of different rhythms that will work on this. I did not go to strings 101, although I have a feeling it would probably be absolutely fine on that. It's just that I found some of these other rhythms a little bit easier to work with, and when you see what I'm doing with my background, you'll see exactly what I mean. All right, I'm going to try Habanero, where's my habanero? Habanera. There we
Yeah.
go. Ah, this could be interesting, Dottie.
It is.
Oh, that's not the song. Very interesting. Yes. So I like the creativity. Yes.
Dawn, what's the tempo?
I've got it at 88 beats. Now this is actually 93, but I'm going to be playing it at 88.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I'm starting on Crazy Country, but for most of the singers that did this, they started with just a strumming guitar. So I took my Crazy Country and I subtracted a few things. First of all, I went to a country category and pulled up number 3, which is Chet Atkins guitar, because I like that sound. I think it's a very clear guitar sound. And I'm taking off the Orchestra Plus. Just reach up and turn off your Orchestra Plus. I left on the bass player because sometimes when you take the bass out completely, you lose timing. And I took the drums out completely. I left the bass, but I took the drums out. So we're going to start the first progression of chords on this. Now you want to add something here because here we're doing the same. We're going to go into the same chord pattern all over again. So let's change it up a little bit. So what did I do? I put my drums all the way up. I put my Orchestra Plus back in. Okay? And I just left this as a simple guitar on top. So we're adding some orchestration. And I'm at the bottom of the page. Now right here, we're going to go into this chord pattern again. And so this is where I'm adding a full orchestra plus AOC. Well, how do I do that? Well, I'm adding my lower tabs, so I'm getting a fuller sound. I'm adding AOC, and I'm adding strings, 2 string tabs, 16 and 8. So for the smaller instruments, just add some strings and put on a duet or a trio. And that's going to give you a bigger orchestration. So right now I'm here at this double line. Now here, if you're going into it again, you could change it up again. So now I took my orchestration off. Now here you might want to change it again. Now, how else can you change it? You could just hit the alter style. Alter style is going to make my background totally different, and it's going to change up my drummer. we go to the coda. Okay? And I'm going up an octave just to be a little different. So pretty much every time I went around that chord circle, that chord pattern, that would be a good place to change. But you don't want to do drastic, drastic, drastic. Sometimes you want to do just subtle, subtle, subtle. And the most drastic was actually when I put the AOC on and added my string tabs. That was the most drastic. Otherwise, everything was just little things. Add an alter style. Add the Orchestra Plus back in. Put the drums back in. Just little things that you can do to keep it really nice and fresh every time somebody hears that chord pattern come around again. Because otherwise, if I just played it on Crazy Country and played it through exactly as written, and you guys had to just listen to the same sounds and the same rhythms over and over and over, you'd go, yeah, I don't think so. When we don't have the privilege of hearing Dusty or Roy or Glenn Campbell sing us the song, then we have to interpret what the lyrics are trying to say to us so that our audience gets something fresh every time. Right?
Dawn,
Yes,
when you make these changes, do you put them on presets?
I did. Yes, I did. I put them on presets.
Otherwise, if you add and take drums away, you have to keep hitting the button to increase them.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And if you do that, then you're adding an extra measure. And is that okay? Sure it is. It's all right if you add an extra measure. But, you know, it's your arrangement. And the smaller instruments, you don't have the ability to save your presets. But yes, I did. I saved my presets so that I could just do one button pushes and go from one to the other. It
Okay.
does make life
Thank you.
easier. I think the only one I didn't put on a preset was at the last minute I decided to go to an alter style, which is a one button push, and that works too. But yes, if you want to memorize those presets, then you have a complete arrangement, and you can do 5 or 6 or 7 different changes, and they can be subtle enough that you're not saying, oh, this one's with a trumpet, this one's with a, you know, something, a didgeridoo. They're not drastic changes. They are subtle changes, and it just keeps your ear fresh in the arrangement. So that was, I will play the whole thing again with that. But I also really enjoyed, oh, by the way, those of you that have Kinda Hush background, use that. Use that. That's pretty good too. But I'm going to go to that basic rhythm and blues, which gives me the My Gal, and if you just left it where it is, it would come up like this. And that just introduces too much the My Gal, even if you're using a minor key. So in order to get away from that, it's still too much My Gal. Go to the alter style.
Is that kind of hush with alter style or without?
No, this is My Gal with alter style. Kinda Hush, I just used it straight up as it was.
Okay.
But do not forget that alter style really can give you something completely different. So you're looking at it and going, oh, that's for My Gal. No, I don't want to use that. Try the alter style. You might. You might. And so it actually comes out. And I didn't do a lot of stuff with this one. But let's just use presets on this one.
Dawn, what is Kinda Hush under?
Not sure because I don't have it on this instrument.
Okay.
Probably pop.
Oh.
Check under pop. I think that's where it might be.
Yeah, that's where it is on the marquee.
Okay. Yep. Thank you, Linda. Yep.
Thanks, Glenn.
But see how different this makes it sound?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm just pressing the presets. And that is another way, that's the easy way, to just make an arrangement, is to just check your sounds and use different sounds. Don't be too drastic, but try different sounds because as you're noticing, the background also changes a little bit, doesn't it? Every time you change a preset, it will automatically put on an Orchestra Plus or take off an Orchestra Plus. It will automatically put on a different drummer, give you a drum variation. And try that alter style because that's just gonna expand your choices. And then if you have all your sounds in your window, if it tells you, if you're lucky enough to have that, then you don't have to guess. Otherwise, you're going to have to go through and mark. And don't be afraid to mark in your music. I want to use this background. I want to use rhythm preset number 5 upper, or put an L lower. And don't forget, you do have those lower keyboards as well. So it's going to give you all those different sounds. I started out with rhythm preset 0, which was a flute on the bottom, and it was actually very nice sound for this.
Mhm.
But now I'm getting away from what most of the original artists had done with it. However, if you remember what I said, over 90 artists recorded this song. So that means that 90, how many people we got on here? 90 plus 37. So we can have 127 different versions of Yesterday When I Was Young, and they'll all be fine, and they'll all be correct. So don't be afraid to try things. I think the habanero was a great example of getting a little bit creative and trying stuff that you normally wouldn't. And I know the first one David Sasanick is going to do is hit disco. And that would probably sound just as good. But just remember, now when you do choose something, you have to make that arrangement, and that's the whole idea. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to play it now. And this is going to be a short class today. I will give you fingering if you want it. And I'm going to do the arrangement, and I may actually change it up a little bit, but I'm just going to go down the line and use what I used for my arrangement here. And that was just a real fast arrangement that I did. I didn't spend a ton of time on that like I did on Christmas in Dixie. So, you know, you can do better than this. But the suggestions that are there, take those to heart. And when you find a background that you like, start picking it apart. What does it sound like without the drums? And you want to build an arrangement. And sometimes you want to build an arrangement that then we want to pull back on it. So when you go all the way to the top, sometimes pulling back can be at the end, or in the case of this, where the song just keeps going around and around and around the same chords, you can start little, build up, get big, pull back, and then build again. So it's totally up to you how to make that arrangement, but just work on some of those things. Check your alter styles. Check your Orchestra Plus. If you want to get as crazy as going into editing the style, please feel free to do so on that as well, because that will change it up a little bit. The bass player, now in this case I thought the bass player needed to be there to help keep the ship going, because sometimes that bass player is the only thing you have to help keep the beat alive. Your different presets, your harmony, your tabs, adding the tabs to add fullness to a sound. Any questions?
So many things to correct and to check. And
There's a lot of things to check. But again, what I'm doing is I'm kind of building on what I did with the variety class, and I'm getting you to look at your instruments. What do those buttons do? And how can I use them? Now, for those of you that say buttons, schmuttons, I don't care, then you're the type of person that just wants to either pick a rhythm and go, because that's what the presets are for. It will change a lot of things for you. Or go to song setup and it will give you, this one's not in song setup, but you know what I mean. Use the easy features that Lowry has given you, and you don't need to know any of this other stuff because it will change it nicely for you. So that's what's so wonderful about these instruments. It can be used where you design everything and push all the buttons, or you just use the presets and let the organ do the work for you. So it works both ways, and both ways are absolutely 100% okay to do.
Dawn, could you just mention at what point, at what notes or what measure you put in the sound changes?
Every time I ran through that chord progression. Remember the
Okay.
chord progression?
Yeah, yeah.
G minor, C, F, F major 7, B flat major 7, G minor, A, D minor. And then and then if you look at your lyrics, may tease a candle flame, and right there when you start the new sentence, that's where you would want to start a different preset or
Okay.
change something. Yep. So watch your lyrics, because your lyrics will also tell you where to do the changes. Run through that chord progression again. So it's going to be after
What
you
is
play
that chord? What is that chord progression again? You said G minor,
G
C.
minor, C,
Yeah.
F major 7, B flat major 7, G minor, A, D minor. That's it. And then it repeats and repeats and
Okay.
repeats. Okay? And
Yep.
that's what I said. You got to watch it, because when you have something that just doesn't really have, there's no bridge to this song. You notice there's no section that takes you somewhere else. Those kind of songs can be very boring if you don't do something to change it up a little bit. Now, we didn't even go into transpose. You could have, I guess, gone to a transpose and gone up half a step once you went around that circle of chords. So don't be afraid to use that one to also change some things. Okay? You have
Okay.
lots of tools in your arranging toolbox. And I'm pushing you guys to get a little bit creative and try some things.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
All right. For next week, and stick around if you want to get the fingering, because it does get a little tricky. Next week we have You Are Beautiful from Flower Drum Song. And boy, do I have some chord changes for you. Ha ha.
uh,
They're easy chords. There's just a lot of them.
and the
That's
next, you are so beautiful.
Yeah, and then it's You Are So Beautiful. Yep, I know. And then You're the Sunshine. So we got some great songs coming up. Then we'll go back to the beginning of the book and start it again. And for those of you who have already had this book with me, don't discount it because I might go in and redo some things and find some better chords or do some different arrangements. So, don't discount what we already did. You can always learn something. I do. Every time I turn around to teach something, I learn something, which is kind of fun. All right. Any questions about anything before we go on?
Nope.
No?
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm late. I was coming
That's okay,
back.
Beverly.
Well, I was looking at my clock in my car and it said 3:00, so I just came in and played the organ. And I checked the timer, it said 2:30. I said, dang. So what song are you working on?
We're doing Yesterday When I Was Young.
Okay.
No worries.
No, I know.
No worries.
I was just curious.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so those people who don't care about fingering, and at this stage of the game, some of you don't, and that's absolutely fine with me. Go enjoy the rest of your day. By the way, you all got a letter from John Riley, right? So read the letter from John Riley. We have Black Friday specials. There's your commercial for the day. Lots of good stuff happening. So if you are in need of anything, do come in, do email, do contact your personal assistant. If you don't have a personal assistant, contact me, 5028@fletchermusic.com, and we'll see what we can do. Maybe we have something for you, and maybe we don't. But that's always on Black Friday. We got to spend our money, right? Okay. This week there will be absolutely nothing going on Thanksgiving Day. That's the entire company. That is one of our 2 days that we are off.
That's
Officially.
amazing.
Yep. Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day are our 2 vacation days. So there will not be any classes, and that's why there will not be a variety class this week. As far as a Zoom musical, he is having one on Wednesday, and it will be at 1 o'clock, which, like I said, it interferes with my class, but that's all right. I'll do something to cut my class a little short so people can get to that. And I'm not sure if he's doing one on Friday. For those of you that have my class on Friday, I will be teaching the Friday class. I do an 11 o'clock, I think it's 11, can't remember. An 11 o'clock intermediate advanced class in book 134. I will be teaching that class. Okay? So join me for Black Friday. We are open Black Friday, most definitely. All right. So for the rest of you, thank you so much for coming. Love you all. And for those who need the fingering, stick around and get your pencils out because we have 4
Don't burn the
pages.
turkey.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Bye-bye. If you want
Giving.
fingering,
Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
happy Thanksgiving to
Thanksgiving.
everybody that we're saying goodbye to.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Fingering G1, A2, B flat 3, A2, B flat 3, D5, C4, B3, C4, B3, C4, B flat 2. You got to watch this because it does get a little tricky with the naturals and the sharps and flats. Next line, A1, G sharp 2, circle it because that is a crossover. A3, G sharp 2, A3, C5, B flat 4, A3, B flat 4, A3, B flat 4, A3. G2, 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 B flat 4, A3, G2, A3, G2, A3, G2, F1, 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 G2, A3, F1, 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 G2, A3. top of the second page, B flat 4. Now you might want to put an arrow on the next A and make it a 2. Then the next B flat is a 3. We have to spider our hands up and down all these chord changes. A2, B flat 3, D5, C4, B3, C4, B3, C4, B flat 2, A1, 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 A1. Put an arrow on the C, make it a 4. B flat 3, A2, B flat 3, A2, B flat 3, A2, G1, 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 G1. Put an arrow on the next B flat, make it a 4. A3, G2, A3, G2, A3, G2. Let's go to the next line. F1, F1. Put an arrow on the G, make it a 4. F3, E2, D1, F3. Check mark. B flat 2, C3, D4. Put an arrow on the C sharp, make it a 2. D3, F5. Last line on that page, E4, D3, E4, D3, E4, D3, C2, B1, C2, B1, C2, E4. Turn the page. D3, C sharp 2, D3, C sharp 2. Uh-oh, what did I do here? I made a mistake. Aha, can't do that. D3, C1. Put an arrow on that C. B flat 2, circle it.
So,
Wait a minute. Start again on that page?
Yeah. It's D3,
Uh-huh.
C sharp 2, D3, C sharp 2, D3, C1. That's a C natural. So put an arrow on the C and make it a 1, and then you're going to cross the 2 over to the B flat, because you don't want to go 3, 2, 1. You don't want to get that 1 on the B flat, if at all possible, because that would hurt. We don't want your fingering to hurt. So B flat 2 with a circle, B flat 2, B flat 2, B flat 2, B flat 2. D4. Second lines. C sharp 3, B flat 2. C sharp 3, B flat 2. It's a little awkward to read it that way, but it works. C sharp 3, B flat 2, A1, 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 A1. B flat 2, A1. Third line, A1, 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 A1. B flat 2, C3, D4. Put an arrow on this next C sharp, make it a 2. D3, C sharp 2, D3, F5, E4, D3, F4, D3.
E4, no?
I'm sorry, you're correct. It's E4. I am sorry. E4, D3, E4, D3, E4, D3. The next measure is C2, B1, C2, B1, C2, E4. Last line on that page, D3, C sharp 2, D3, C sharp 2, D3, arrow on this next C, make it a 1, just like we did at the top of the page. B flat 2, circle it. B flat 2, B flat 2, B flat 2, B flat 2, D4. Top of the next page, C sharp 3, B flat 2. C sharp 3, B flat 2. C sharp 3, B flat 2. A1, 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 A1. And in case I forgot one, A1. Yeah. Okay. Your pickup notes, because you're going back to the beginning, are C5, B4. So if you want to put a little check mark in between there, you may. Let's do the coda. F3, D1, 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 E2, F3, G4, 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 B flat 5. Next line, A4, 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 B flat 5, A4, G3, F2, 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 A4, second to the last line, G3, F sharp 2, G3, F sharp 2, G3, put a little arrow here, F1, E2 with a circle, E2, 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 G4, F3, 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 and the last line is E2 and D1, D1. Now your fingers may find other paths, and if they are comfortable, it's absolutely fine to erase mine and put your own in, but it does, there's like no place to stop here. This is one of those songs that it just goes and goes and goes. There's not a lot of holding notes. There's no rests. I don't even know where these singers took a breath.
Dawn, on the last line of the song, after
Uh-huh.
the D minor,
Uh-huh.
and those two measures where you're holding that,
Yeah.
can you suggest some chords to play on those
Uh, you'd probably just want to do
G
a,
minor, maybe F?
no, you'd want to do the G minor, A, D minor.
Okay.
G minor, A, D minor. Yep. That would work. Or, hit your ending button, or do a fill-in, or don't forget about this guy, your virtuoso. But there was actually no place to use, there was really no place to use a fill-in on this. I think the only place I used a fill-in at all was when I was going to the chorus part, and I went to the full orchestra in AOC. There's one dotted half note on page 353, and that's where I used a little bit of a fill-in before kicking into Yesterday When I Was Young.
Right,
There's really no place to take a breath here, is there?
right,
Mm.
Well, after each chord progression, you could.
Yes, that's exactly what you have to do, is after each phrase, you would have to. Or your singer would turn blue and die. Okay, next week we will work on You Are Beautiful from Flower Drum Song. And if I do not see any of you on any of the Tuesday or Wednesday classes, happy Thanksgiving. Be safe. Be safe. Enjoy your meal with your loved ones, but be absolutely 100% safe.
Thank you, Dawn. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thanksgiving, Dawn.
Thanksgiving.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you to
Don't go
everybody.
too much grass.
Don't go where?
Thankful that we have you, and this is wonderful that we can do this.
Zoom is actually, yeah, I'm very glad that Robert decided that this was the way we were going to communicate with everybody, and it's working out very well, and I'm all happy about it too.
And
Good.
I'm loving it too in Indiana.
Yeah, then we can
Oh.
keep you in our family.
Yes, I know. I wouldn't be part of the family anymore.
I
Amy,
know.
I'm
I
coming
know.
home one more week. I can't wait.
Oh, excellent. Good. It's not snowing there yet, huh?
No, but I'm crossing my fingers.
Yeah.
Every time I open the garage door, I'm like, okay, what is that white stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yep.
One day that little, but not nothing since. That was a month ago.
Wow.
We had
Not
ice on our driveway this morning.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
ouch. Wow.
So I just stayed home.
That's what you do.
I haven't been anywhere for a week anyway.
Wow. Okay. Well, I will see you all
Just
next week,
one question, Dawn.
or I will see you on my classes Tuesday and Wednesday. You guys are
Okay.
the awesomest.
One question,
Oh,
Dawn.
I'm sorry, David. Go ahead.
Okay. I was coming back from Orlando yesterday, and I heard a song on the radio, and I wondered if it was in Easy Play.
Okay. What is
And
it?
it had been done by Mannheim Steamroller, and it was called MacArthur Park 68.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember that song?
I think I don't know if MacArthur Park. Yeah, I know that song very well. That's where someone left the cake out in the rain.
That's the one.
Yep. And I don't think that I can take it because it took so long to bake it. And I'll never have that recipe again, darn it. I will look it up. I'm not sure if it's an Easy Play or not, but I will absolutely look it up for you.
And if I have to buy a book to get it, I would buy a book to get it.
Okay. I have not put the book order in yet, by the way. All of you that are in my Wednesday class, I have not put that book order in yet. That's because somebody in class wanted to make a few more suggestions. So that extra week is not going to matter because I don't think Hal Leonard is they probably get Thanksgiving off really and truly, like the whole weekend. So I still have time to order books. All right, so if you need a Christmas book, if you need anything else, let me know.
Will do.
Hey,
Okay, I will look
Thank
it up for you, David.
Thank
have
you.
a blessed holiday, everybody.
Happy
You too.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Bye, Barb.
Bye, everybody. Love you all.
Bye, everybody. Bye.